Have you ever wondered what it's like to organise a trail running series or a major event? Or have you ever wondered what it's like to run for a very long distance over many, many days back to back? In today's episode, I'm sitting down with Mel McSeveny, who's the president of Running Wild New South Wales, and I also catch up with Andrea Comastri, the CEO of Hotel Etico, who completed his long run to inclusion, epic journey running from Mount Victoria in the Blue Mountains all the way down to Canberra for the opening of his new Centre of Excellence down at the Macua, Canberra. I'm Rob Phillpott, and this is Talking Trail. I am here with Melissa McSeveny, who is the current president of Running Wild New South Wales. It's great to have you here and talking with us on Talking Trail. Mel, what can you tell us about Running Wild for people who don't know about Running Wild?
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I could talk about Running Wild all day. Running Wild New South Wales it's quite an institution. So I've actually been a bit of a nerd and brought some notes with me because I want to do it justice. I don't want to forget anything. There's people who know the history of Running Wild much better than me. You're probably one of them. I've been only around for about 5 years now with Running Wild. But Running Wild started back in 2010 with 3 guys. I think you've probably had 2 of them on your podcast already.
Yep.
Yeah. So Sean Greenhill, Rod Cutler, Phil Murphy, along with some other long-time volleys. I know that Ben Berryman and Keith Hong were on the committee to start with. And it started because there was a bunch of informal or fat-ass runs going in the mountains for people to train for 6 foot especially, or other big events like the North Face. But they started getting a bit bigger than a group run. So we had to start putting in applications with landholders, with national parks, and get some insurance. So that's how it started. And we've basically since then kept it as a group that organises, they're now formally organised, but friendly community runs for everyone to participate in. Yeah.
So Running Wild is a not-for-profit?
Yeah, not-for-profit. So all the committee are volunteers, the executive committee are volunteers, and we work with volunteers on the day to organise the events. When people are paying for their tickets, they're paying for insurance coverage for the event, sausage sandwich, a can of drink, for their bib to be printed. We're just covering the costs of running the event, basically. And there's still a few other not-for-profit race organisers around, which we love to see. We love supporting the other local Blue Mountains businesses that run races, Tony Williams, for example, and others. But we think that it's really important for us to keep trail runs in the mountains for as much as possible, low cost, and about supporting the community and not having to compromise on values or fun or our mission or purpose for the sake of making a profit, which is a privileged place to be in. Yeah. Yeah,
I mean, a lot of people love the Running Wild events because it is wallet friendly.
Yes.
So it's a very low cost race series to get involved in. Nearly all of the Running Wild events have at least or have 2 distances.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So Wentworth Falls, we've got the 11K or the 16K. At Glenbrook Marathon, we've got the 3 different distances. Obviously, Saints and Sinners, we've got the 3-hour or the 6-hour. So, yeah, you can sign up for as little or as much as you like. Yeah. Yeah,
so it's a gateway, I suppose, to some of those bigger events and even the bigger distances, because Running Wild also splits in terms of referring to the races as short course events and long course events.
Well, actually, that's gotten a little blurry over the last few years with some of the events changing. So like Naranek, for example, when Glen Raphael Drive became closed and we had to change the start area, it got a bit longer. It's 25 Ks now instead of 21. So
that's deemed as a long course event now?
Yes, it is. Well, I think we've got to work out a system, or whether we need one or not, of, it's not just short and long course anymore. There's short and long within each event, but we wouldn't say we have short events and long events anymore. We've got the full range from, as I said, at Saints and Sinners, you can sign up for the 3 hours and do 2 laps or 1 lap as part of a team. That's 5 Ks. Wentworth Falls, you can do 11 Ks. or you could sign up for a 6 hours at Saints and Sinners and do a marathon or more, as some people do, or the Mount Solitary Ultra, which is 45.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is the biggest race, isn't it?
That's our longest distance race that we have, yeah. And it's probably the most rugged and remote definitely of all of our events, and probably of any event in the Blue Mountains, actually, up and over Mount Solitary. Yeah, it's a special one.
Yeah.
And it's coming up soon. So, yeah, next race on the calendar is Mount Solitary on
the 26th of April.
Yes, 26th of April. That's right.
It's a Sunday, 26th of April.
And it's sold out.
It's sold out, so there's no point in me telling you get an entry soon.
We do have some exciting changes, though, for Mount Solitary this year, which we haven't done before. So along that vein, in line with our ethos of being inclusive, Mount Solitary, it's rugged, it's remote, it could be potentially dangerous. We've got to be really careful with safety. So we do have to have a qualifier to make sure that people who are entering the event are competent on those sorts of trails. But this year we wanted to make sure that some people who might not be confident enough to race in Mount Solitary could still participate and experience the event. So we're giving them an hour's head start.
Right.
And they'll be...
So they're still going to do the full course then?
They're still doing the full course.
Yeah.
But they won't be eligible for podiums because they're not in the competitive group of runners.
Yeah.
And they get an extra hour to complete it. So I think that's a good move forward for people to be able to experience that.
Yeah. So in the earlier days of 6-foot track race, they used to have, it was age-based. Where they would have the, I suppose, veteran category. Yeah. The older runners could have an extra hour, and they'd start an hour earlier than everyone else.
Yeah, great.
So there are some people that lament that missing, you know, but so that's really nice that Running Wild has added that.
Yes. Partly the reason why we wanted to organise the bib pickup and gear check with you guys the day before Mount Solitary.
Yeah.
So those early starters can get in and get that done and not have to worry about on the morning of the event.
That's right. Yeah. So come to Summit Gear in Katoomba, 86 Katoomba Street, Katoomba, and you can pick up your bib there and have your mandatory gear checked as well. So we're in season 16 now. So we're about 3/4 of the way through. So it follows the financial year, not the calendar year.
Yeah, so our season runs from July of one year till June of the next. So that was July 2025. We're now obviously March 2026, and we've got a couple of events left to go. We just had Wentworth Falls not long ago. Next event will be Mount Solitary in April. And then we've got Borrolo Bush Run, which we collaborate with Hawkesbury Trail Runners on in July. That will be 26th of July. Those tickets are selling fairly quickly, so I'd encourage people to buy those.
So is that classified as the first race of the
yes, of course.
season 17 then?
Of course, yes, because that's in July. But we do have the date set for that one. And then the next dates for the second half of the year we're still working on. And I may as well use the opportunity to talk about a new/old event that will be happening in June.
Okay.
So we haven't made this public yet, but we've been working on it for the last 18 months or so with Western Sydney mountain bikers, and we're bringing back the old Woodford to Glenbrook Classic in its traditional month of June.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. That's awesome. So, really long history on that race.
Yes.
In the Blue Mountains. So that started in the early mid-80s. Was it?
Yeah, so it was informally running for quite a while from the 80s. And it started out as a trail run. And then along the way, the mountain bikers got involved as well. And so the mountain bikers would head off first and then the trail runners afterwards, which is how I remember it when I did it in the late 2010s. I think 2017 maybe I did it.
Okay.
So yeah, it was running informally from the 80s, and then around 2008 Care Flight took over organising it, and it was a fundraiser for them, and then it last ran in 2019. So obviously COVID, bushfires, all of those things happened. Care Flight, I don't think they had the capacity to keep running it, but I mean there was I think about 1,000 participants by the end there, like 2017, 2018. It was huge.
Yeah, Europa used to be full of people afterwards, because of the big everyone coming to pick their runners up. So, after having dropped them off early, or people that had brought the train up early, especially the mountain bikers as well as the runners. Yeah, and there'd just be people everywhere.
Yeah, and the trains would run an extra service or two. So
wow, okay,
they would put the extra service on for the runners and bikers, which we've looked into doing again. So for this year, we're going to cap it at a smaller number. We're looking at around 300 participants.
This is for runners
or both combined.
Both, okay,
yes.
Yeah. Is it an even split, or is it
it's an even split?
Okay, all right.
But yeah, it's been great working with Western Sydney mountain bikers. It is tricky logistically. I don't envy the mountain bike riders in organising events. It's more complicated than runners. We just turn up and grab a bib and run.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, they've got gear to bring with them. They need more safety services. It's insurance is a bit more complicated, but it's been a bit of a learning curve for me working with them on the bikes. But no, it's great that we're bringing it back. Everybody's very excited. So. We've got our applications in and everything seems a-okay with council and national parks, and the start line should be at the station again, just outside Woodford Station.
Okay, so we've got a little bit of traffic management to start then.
Yes, but that's so we can get the full 25 kilometres.
Yeah, because it finishes in Euroka, not up at the Ranges.
Yes,
but,
yeah. We wanted to keep it as close to the traditional format as possible. And people will catch the train up or be dropped off up at Woodford, and the cyclists will head off first in a range of waves for them, and then the runners afterwards, and the event hub will be down in Euroka. Can't wait.
Excellent. For people who aren't aware of that run, the Oaks Fire Trail and Woodford to Glenbrook, it's long been known as the place to get your fastest 10K trail.
Oh, yes. Yeah. So it's hilly for about,
first 12 Ks?
Yep.
Yep. And then downhill after that.
Yep. And then
but not so steep that you can't run fast. It's like a really moderate decline, so that your descent, so that you can pick up some speed.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's why the bike riders love it as well, I think.
And will you come down Ironbark? Or
Bennett's.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so similar finish to some of our other event
like
courses
Glenbrook Trail Marathon.
Yeah. But with the event hub in Roka campground. It's going to be great. And we've had a lot of Glenbrook 440 Run Club sign up to volunteer for that one. So taking a little bit of ownership, seeing as they're the Glenbrook Run Club.
Yeah.
So looking forward to working with them on that as well.
So this is so exciting. This is really great news.
Yeah. So, 21st of June, we're looking at running the event and looking to open registrations in the next few weeks. So keep your eyes peeled.
So that'll be a Sunday morning, will it be?
Yes. Yep. Sunday morning.
Awesome. What else is planned for the rest of the year?
So our usual events, we've got a date for Borrolo. We're still working out dates for Glenbrook, Kadumba and Narrowneck. So we'll confirm those soon. Saints and Sinners looks like it'll be in the October long weekend, which will be nice. It'll be in the school holidays because obviously we work with the school's property there that Mark Turnbull helps us with. And the trails at Winmalee and Springwood, and then Rees Run, which is our collaboration with the Rees Foundation. Will be in the first weekend of December to align with International Day for people with disability. Yeah,
so that's in Glenbrook. That's on what's known as the Lovers Walk, which takes you from the road, is it Barnett Street to Marge's Lookout?
Yes.
Yeah. No, that was really special, that event, and then Running Wild's involvement. Really nice.
Again, it aligns. So we've had a few new collaborations since COVID, I guess, and the Reef Foundation has been one of those, and Troy approached us. I don't know if you've had Troy on the podcast. He'd be a great guest to have, Troy Sachs from the Reef Foundation.
No.
So he's an amputee runner who's done some amazing things. So, we're working with him. We've run the event twice now, but it's for people of all abilities to go and run this 3-kilometre course as few or as many times as they like, and we get people coming from all sorts of places because it's the only, I think, inclusive of all abilities trail run that I'm aware of. And Troy mentioned that there's a real gap in the market.
Because, forgive me if I'm wrong, but I think there was some off-road wheelchairs.
Yes. We've got amputees, we've got wheelchairs, motorized wheelchairs, as well as wheelchairs that people push or have someone come and push. got families, kids, able-bodied runners as well who come and see what they can get in the time limit, as many laps as possible. Yeah, it's great, lots of fun. And again, and you know, as with most Running Wild events, it's all about being social in the community.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how long have you been president of Running Wild?
Yeah, I was thinking today. So I joined in 2019 as a committee member and then became president in 22-23 season. Yeah, so I joined just as we were going into COVID. So Running Wild, I think I did my first Running Wild event was the Wentworth Falls event that started at Wilson Park. That would have been maybe 2017. That was one of my first trail running events ever, I think. And then, yeah, joined the committee in 2019. Running Wild was, I don't know if I'd say it was its heyday because we're doing pretty well now, but it was, we had some pretty big numbers at a lot of our events around then. And then obviously COVID happened, and being a not-for-profit and, you know, prioritizing safety, we didn't have to stress about putting events on when we weren't sure what was happening with lockdowns and things like that. So there was a lot of cancellations, postponements, things like that. So then when I became president, we were kind of coming out of COVID around that 2022, and it was, a bit of a period of reflection, I think, for the organisation. We hadn't run many events, and the committee was quite small at that point as well. So we kind of thought, do we fold up or do we keep going? And if we are to keep going, what does it look like, and how do we adapt? And we chose to grow, and we've changed a bit, and taken on these new events, collaborating like with the Reef Foundation, with Hawkesbury Trail Runners, supporting Gav with the Fiery Stair Climb. We've been doing a bit of work with Lou as well, supporting the Blue Mountains Tourism event that's coming up on the 12th of April.
Which hasn't sold out, so you can still do
tickets
that.
Still available.
Yeah, so that's a 17K on the Grand, it's called the Grand Cliff Top Race.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, with a great logo of the black cockatoo.
Yes, yeah, just like all the signage for that Grand Cliff Top walk.
Yeah. And we're still looking for some volunteers to help on the day as well with that one.
Okay. So Running Wild is providing the volunteers.
We're just supporting Lou in the background. It's the first time that Lou Clifton and Blue Mountains Tourism have put on this event, and we just think it's a great idea. So we've lent her a little bit of volunteer time to support in the background. So the committee's doing a little bit of background work, but it's not a Running Wild event. It's definitely a Blue Mountains Tourism event. And we're just, doing a little bit of background volunteer work with her.
Yes, there's an annual general meeting every year.
Yes.
And they nominate for positions as well as just to be on the general committee.
Yes, that's
each
right.
year. So it's not like you're signing up for 3 years or you're appointed for 5 or anything like that. It's not like a presidential term or anything like that. And I suppose I have to thank you and the rest of the committee for doing what you do. It is volunteer. It's great, and it can be a lot of fun, but also, and you obviously get a lot of personal satisfaction and reward from putting on these events and seeing all the smiling faces and everyone just loving what they've done on the day. But it does take a fair chunk of hours when you are involved, and obviously the more committee you've got to spread the load, the better. But we really should give the committee and people like yourself more thanks and kudos and gratitude for having this organisation for us runners. Because without it, you just go, it's too hard, or we're going to have to pay positions, and then suddenly the cost of doing events goes up. And
no, thank you. It takes some work sometimes, but we all do it because we really enjoy it. And the committee, we've got an awesome committee at the moment. I mentioned Gav's on the committee, Gav Clifton. We've got some long time volunteers. So Helen, the secretary, has been on the committee since season 2. Brad, the treasurer, since not long after that. And Anthony Crick is our vice president. And then we've got about 10 other committee members who all bring their passion, skills, expertise, people skills, connections with other projects that they're working on. So we've got Bernard Hoffman, for example, who's been a committee member the last year, and he runs the local Indigenous Marathon Foundation group down in Penrith and Lower Mountain. Brad Smithers, our treasurer, is half of the Run Against Violence organisation. And obviously Gav's got the Fire East Climb for MND. So we're all, a lot of us have multiple kind of, involvements in running events and organising, and we obviously do it because we love it. But there is a committee meeting each year, usually around July. As I said, our season's run by financial year, so we'd like to have the new committee on board for the new season to run. We haven't set a date for this year's yet, but we will put it out on socials soon. And it's thanks to that variety of skills and different people that Running Wild has been able to operate with its strengths for as long as it has. Like both that old school knowledge of how things have been done in the past, as well as the people coming on with new kind of energy and ideas as well. So we all work really well together, and we love it.
Being on the committee and having a role on the committee does then preclude you from being able to participate?
No.
In the past it has. Because we're too busy running the event to actually take part. And I know this is something that you and the team have tried to tackle in the last year or so. I know, so Matt Dunshay, who was the president before I was, he always kind of said to me, happy for you to run an event too, that's fine. And so I've tried to kind of keep that as well. We definitely have people running events who are on the committee. And I've even run some events. As I did Barralow Bush Run last year. I made up a bit of a volunteer role. It was a roving marshal. So I could basically just do the training run that I needed that day with a radio. Why do you think I sweep so many events?
Yeah, that's right. One of the bonuses of being president, I get to make up a role and to get my run in. But that's because Hawkesbury Trail runners just take, responsibility for that race, and they do such a great job that I'm not worried about anything on the day. Wentworth Falls this year, I wanted to run the 16K, but in the end I decided not to. I still got a run in. I went out, I was a forerunner to check all the marking on the course because the night before the event, I'd been out course marking, and that event just has so many kids and young people at the front. They're so fast. And I just really, as a mum as well, I just wanted to make sure the course was marked really well and no one went off course. So I got out and did that early instead, which I was, glad I did. And we had some super fast, speedy kids.
We absolutely do.
At the front of the pack.
And because the committee are made up of passionate trail runners.
Yeah, definitely.
So, I mean, you have quite a history or career of trail running. Tell people about your running.
Aside from being healthy and able-bodied, I wouldn't say that I'm built to be a particularly good runner. And, I guess everyone's got their strengths and weaknesses, but I didn't come to running until after having kids. So I've been running for maybe 10 years now. So I didn't run when I was younger. I wasn't involved in athletics or anything like that. I did the typical kind of netball and dancing. I fell in love with it. And it was around the time that I'd moved to the mountains. So I grew up closer to the city wasn't familiar with being in the bush or any of those sorts of things, but moved to the mountains, started getting into running, and just... fell in love with it. It ticked so many boxes. It helped me find my community in the mountains. When I'd moved to a fairly new area, it's good for physical well-being, mental well-being, gets you out in nature, and it's my social life mostly as well. I think it's a bit hard to be friends with runners if you don't run yourself.
True. But you've done some big things. So you've done some marathons.
Yeah, I've done Sydney Marathon probably 4 times. I've done UTA 2250. I've done the 100 twice. I've done a few hundreds here and there. I've done Tarawera 100. Yeah, for my 40th birthday, I did the Caves to River, FKT.
Yeah, Jenolan Caves to River.
Which you came along for part of.
Yeah, so that was
Lots of fun.
FKT. That was amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Maybe one day I'll get back to doing it.
And that was like 140?
122, 23.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah. So I started at, Jenolan Caves, ran along 6-foot track and came up Devil's Hole to Katoomba, and then
Which is not particularly runnable.
No. But that's the trail runner's secret, isn't it?
Yes.
We walk quite a bit. And then up and over Mount Sol, up Kadumba, down Ingars, down the Oaks, Darks Common, and down to the river, finishing at Emu Plains at Regatta Park.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that was how I celebrated my 40th.
Huge achievement. Wow. What do you got
on
coming up for your 50th?
Yes, exactly. I've got a couple of years to plan. But yeah, apparently that was a route like Caves to River that people had talked about quite a while and looked at, there's a lot of different ways that you could do it. And
people would probably choose easier paths.
Yeah, but less interesting.
That's right. Yeah. So, not Devil's Hole, not going up and over Mount Solitary, is added vert.
Did you not include Mount Sol, though?
Well, that's right. If you want to make it,
iconic.
Epic and iconic. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that was lots of fun.
So, you're still running.
Yep.
You're still running well.
Yeah. Everyone has up and down years, months, periods, time.
Well, I have to say, of all of the people that I know, you would be, there are some people like myself that sort of bit haphazard with training. Often I will turn up, I'll have a training plan, but I'll turn up for a run and if 3 people are saying, oh, I'm going to go and do this, it's like, well, that sounds like fun and that's social. I'll go and do your loop rather than, no, I was going to do repeats of this. But one thing that I know about you is that you are very disciplined in that. You're like, no, I've got this. You're welcome to come with me when I do these repeats of this hill or, I'm doing this speed session today, whatever. But, you're not easily swayed. So you've got that strength of character and discipline to just do what you think that you need to do or what the program calls for.
Yeah.
Where does that come from?
Good question. I'm not sure. I think I do like to challenge myself. Even before I was running, I always enjoyed a challenge and sense of adventure. To be honest, for quite a while, those harder sessions that are not social and are difficult to do and other people see them as something you need discipline for, I would always get quite anxious about. But I think that's
about doing
those sessions. Yeah, like an interval session often in the past would make me anxious the night before. I would go to sleep thinking, oh man, I really don't want to have to do this session tomorrow, or how am I going to do this? I don't think I can do it. But that's what made me get it done as well, if that makes sense, because I didn't want to give in to that anxiety. I didn't want it to beat me. So I guess it was more of a, not so much a physical discipline, but a mental one, trying to, like a mental challenge more than a physical one often. And how good do you feel when you've ticked off something that you thought you couldn't do?
Oh, absolutely. or that you know that you should do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not necessarily because you've got a coach expecting you to do this. I know you at times you have.
Yeah, I've had a couple of coaches. Yeah. Lewis Squadrito currently writes my running plan and strength plan, and he's I've really done well with his strength plan. I do take a little bit of creative license with his running. But I'm sure he would agree it's okay to do, because obviously you go with how your body feels and what you think you can do. And, I've learned over the years when to push and when not to push.
Well, a lot of good coaches say that the training plans are written in pencil.
That's right.
For a reason.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So one thing we haven't talked about with Running Wild that might be seen as being a little bit different to a lot of race organisers is that Running Wild New South Wales has scholarship program.
Yes, that's right. So some years we do have a little bit of extra money come in that we can put back into the community. And this scholarship idea actually came from the guys who organise Kunanyi down in Tassie.
Okay.
Yeah, so they have scholarships for their event. It's a little bit different for them because they only have that the one event that they provide scholarships for, and people train and they do that one event, whereas Running Wild has our 9-ish events per year. But yeah, with some money that we had that we wanted to put back into community, we thought maybe we could support some people who maybe face some barriers in getting into trail running for whatever reason, whether it's because they might be children or young people whose parents can afford to help them support them. Because sport is expensive, I know, as a parent. It could be, older women who have maybe not had the confidence to get into running before, or maybe people who have felt not welcome in the mainstream running community for whatever reason. So we've got scholarships of up to $2,000 each, where we've got an application form on our website, but it's a very easy application form. I don't want to turn anyone off by thinking they have to fill out an application. We just want to get an idea of why you're interested in trail running, what you think you get out of it, what the barriers have been, and how we can support them. And with that $2,000, it's an available kind of account, I guess, where they can, Running Wild will pay for them to be coached, to see a physio, to get some nutrition advice, and enter some races.
Okay.
Yeah. So the information's all on the website. We opened applications earlier this year. So if anybody knows anyone who would be interested in being supported to start some trail running, or get back into trail running after a long hiatus for whatever reason, you can point them to our website.
So scholarship in this case is really sort of more of a catch-all term. So it's not talking about like just for students.
No.
So this, as you've talked about the span of potential candidates for this, it's a financial and in-kind support.
Yeah,
from
that's right.
some professionals.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's open to anyone in the Penrith, Blue Mountains, Hawkesbury area. And the other part of it, aside from the finance, is a little bit of mentorship and connection with their local running groups as well. If they're from the Hawkesbury, we've got Hawkesbury Trail Runners. In the mountains, we've got Blue Mountains Marathon Clinic or the Glenbrook 440 Club, and and a range of others as well. So it's supporting people to be welcomed into the community. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. Well, thanks so much for your time. Is there anything we didn't cover?
Not that I can think of. I'd direct people to the Running Wild website. I'd say get into the event registration as soon as possible. Basically every event we put on sells out, and then and then in the weeks leading up to the event, we have people asking to be put on wait lists or looking for transfers. So
when you announce the new season, so let's say the new season comes online, so to speak, in terms of the website, I imagine probably in May or June for season 17, which will take you all the way up into May or July the following year.
Yeah.
Are all of the races open to enter then?
No,
or it's staggered?
It is staggered. It is staggered. Yeah. Just because of the logistics of organising nine or so different events and the different landholder permissions and all of those sorts of things, and finding a date that works as well. We always, as part of supporting the local community of trail running and other events, we always want to make sure we're not clashing.
And that's so hard these days. There's so many events, which is fantastic for us trail runners, but it also means it's a very busy calendar at certain times of the year.
That's exactly right.
And because Australia, which makes us really lucky that we actually don't have an off season.
Yes. Yes.
Whereas we we don't have 3 months of snow, so
Yeah.
we're all
Barely
good.
even have to put a rain jacket on.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. Thanks for
Thank
coming and
you.
joining me and telling everyone all about Running Wild.
Thank you. And thanks for some years' support of Running Wild as one of our local partners.
Our pleasure. I'm here with Andrea Comastri, the CEO of Hotel Etico, to celebrate and talk about his huge achievement in running all the way from Mount Victoria, from the Hotel Etico there, all the way to Canberra. So this was done from March the 8th.
Yes.
You set out, headed down towards Penrith, and then
veered right
and went south all the way to Canberra, Parliament House, and then finishing at the Mercure Hotel, which is the site of the new facility there, and obviously to raise awareness and raise some much needed funds for this program that you run. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Let's talk about that. So
Yes.
411 kilometres in total.
Correct.
It was. Finished on the 21st of March.
Yes.
21st was a significant day.
Yes.
Because it's World Down Syndrome Day.
Yes.
So, very special because Hotel Etico provides quite a lot of support for people with Down syndrome.
Correct. And he was born around Down syndrome. The first ever trainee in Italy was a young man. He's a young man with Down syndrome. Yes.
Yeah, so it's a very special date or significant date, and that's why that was chosen, and that's why you wanted to finish on that day.
Correct.
So congratulations
on
on achieving such a big effort there. Tell us about it.
It was great fun. I mean, from a running point of view, was great fun. I was, as we say, a little bit undercooked for a number of reasons, but I, like the distances in each day were quite doable from an ultra running person point of view. The maximum was 48 kilometers.
Okay.
Another one of 46, and the average was about 30-35 a day. So you can do that. But obviously the big challenge is getting up in the morning again and doing it all again, right?
That's right.
With all the logistics that come with it, like from washing clothes to nutrition to recovery to managing injuries and everything else, and transport, travel, and so on. But it was great fun. It was actually, I'm almost like a convert to multi-stage running. I found it really, really interesting and really revealing of how the body can recover, and how much you can push yourself with just 8 hours of sleep and the right treatments and the right things. So really, really interesting, especially because I know that I wasn't as trained as I had been in the past for major events.
Yeah.
So that part of the running, incredibly good and positive with all the challenges that came along the way. From a fundraising point of view, we're really happy. We raised already $127,000, which is a big chunk of money that will go a long way in helping us in continuing to train and employ people with disability. We still have the fundraising going, and we're hoping to attract a few additional donations. We have 2 generous donors that have put some money on the table as a matching donation. So any additional donation that happens over the next few days and weeks will be matched up to a maximum of $10,000, which is great. Might be able to get us to 150 all up or something like that. So it's great. And then on top of that, like as you said, the awareness, the promotion, the conversations along the way, whether it's conversations with people standing on the side of the road saying, what the hell are you doing? And stopping and talking, or activations that we've created along the way in major spots. In Camden, in all along the mountains, for example, we stopped at Conservation Hut, we stopped at 2773, we stopped at the Laughing Boy down in Emu Plains, which are owned and operated by 2 very well-known runners, Shane and Belinda, who have a particular interest in disability as well. So they supported that event, and we did a few activations there on social media and in person. And then Camden Valley through a sponsor, and then Barrel. In Barrel, we went through a shop, apart from a major event at the Farm Club in Werribee, but we also stopped at a deli that is owned by one of the families that their daughter comes to Hotel Etico.
Okay.
So we did another little big event, another event there, and they raised some money. And all along the way, I was able to meet a lot of our trainees and graduates that ran with me, whether it's a few hundred meters or a few kilometers. Parents, supporters, friends, And so there was a couple of days where I ran by myself, but most of the other days I had someone with me either for the whole leg or part of the leg, or meeting me at particular points, surprising me. I had one of our graduates that popped out of the trees between Bungendore and Queanbeyan, and then he ran 25 kilometers with me.
Okay.
And then he ran the following day as well, so which was really, really lovely. I had a great support person who had never done anything like that in her life, but she's my second in charge at work, and so we get along really well. We understand each other. We don't even need to talk to know what we need. But like every day, she was getting more and more familiar with what I needed. As you know, as a runner, like you're very much in the zone, very just thinking about yourself. How many flasks do you need, or at what time, and what time is Red Bull time, or what all those sort of things.
Yeah.
And it was a great experience, a really, really great experience, and beautiful. Especially some of the days, beautiful, beautiful running. Some trail where I could find the trail that joined. Others were a little bit more sketchy along regional roads with trucks zipping by, and but with a high-vis vest and by myself or with some support was very doable.
So did you end up doing sort of the length of the Northern Road, or?
Yeah, I did the whole Northern Road up to Narellan,
Yep.
and then from there Campton Valley in, and then at the back towards Tamil and in Barrow to Tamil to Barrow, which was the highest climb, was about 1,000 meters of climb over the 46 kilometers. Was a lot of trail as well, which was good. I had some local friends running that had mapped things for me in a good way that is not too dangerous, and so it was really good. I was really pleased with my planning. I stuck to the plan quite well in terms of timing. I understood where my body was at, and what I had to do or not to do. The logistics worked really well. We had great support from a number of sponsors that provided accommodation along the way. So pretty much, apart from 2 nights, we had free accommodation from hotel partners all along. Sometimes we had to do a bit of driving back and forth because, where the location was. That's right. So it's like, okay, well, now we need to drive back to where we were yesterday. But it worked really well. It was really, really appreciated it. And it worked really well. So, and it was great to see familiar faces along the way. Like that's what you want, right? When you're sort of in the pits and you sort of, oh, gee, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? Am I going to get out of this? And then you see this face that and say, that's great. And then the whole mood changes, right? Really, really great experience.
Yeah, because it wasn't just Andrea's going out to do a long distance over a number of days. It was about awareness and fundraising. So, so to put that into context where you said, like average was sort of 30, 35 kilometres, a couple of big days in the 40s and the high 40s. But it wasn't just, I'll just run for 3 or 4 hours and then I'm done for the day, because you had to get to a destination and then be on
active.
So to speak,
that's right.
To talk to people and get involved in a fundraising activity, or give some speeches and things like that. And then, as you said, like along the way, you'd have to stop because you were meeting with people and explaining what you're doing and all that. So it was a very interrupted journey.
That's right. It was a bit of a journey. I mean, I did a little bit hard for myself on a couple of the days because I was conscious that I had to get to a certain place by a certain time, or I had a bit of a buffer, but that sort of put a little bit of pressure. If I was able to get there whenever I wanted, that would have been much easier, right? Yeah. But so I knew that I had to get there by 2:00 or by 11:00 or whatever would be a specific places, and I sort of stuck to it pretty well, which was pretty amazing. But that put a little bit of pressure. Even the finish line, like knowing that I had to finish by a certain day, a certain time. I only had a little bit of a window there to be able to, Parliament House, a few hundred people waiting for me, and the film crew, and then had to go to Mercure, Canberra, and so make sure that things work out in that way. There was a bit of pressure, but it was a movement. It wasn't a race, right? So, but those bits made it sound like a race. I had to meet the cutoff time in a way. It was a bit like that, but it was amazing. And I think a lot of the people involved in the movement were not runners, were not familiar with the craziness that ultra running is. And so they were quite amazed and shocked and saying, I want him to quit. He needs to quit. His leg is swollen. You shouldn't be doing this. But, as you know, like you just keep fighting through and you get through.
So you did have to push through an injury or two?
Yeah. It was actually quite early on. It was quite worrying at the beginning because going down the hill, I developed this problem that I had before years ago, which I think is like shin splints or something like that. And my left leg was quite swollen, was sore. I couldn't really, it was really tricky. But between a few painkillers, and as you know, when you run long distances, you can't take NSAIDs and because they're bad for you. And so I had to take other stuff, and then massages. I planned and booked a lot of, whether it was a Thai massage or a float or physio at the different stops. It really worked. I also used a physio in Camden, apart from treating me, gave me those compression air pressure boots, and he gave them to me for the whole week. And so every night I was using it for 45 minutes at the end of each run, and it made a world of difference. And so by day 8 or 9, the injury started to subside a little bit. And I don't know if it was adrenaline, I don't know if it was denial or whatever that is, but somehow it got better. And by the time I finished, I was actually running faster than when I started. So it was really good, really exciting. And now, I haven't run for the last 10 days, and I'm taking it easy. The body was quite fatigued, and then you get the running blues because, now what? But yeah, I'm pretty pleased with the way the body's responded, actually.
So let's answer that question.
Yeah.
Has it given you a hunger to put a race bib back on again?
Yeah, definitely. Look, I haven't really done much over the last 2 years, which was one of the reasons why I was quite undercooked. And I sort of miss the events environment. I did a few leading up to it, but just to join a little bit the movement. But yes, absolutely. Now I know that I don't know whether I'll be switching on to running 100Ks or whatever that is, but definitely I want to be doing more. I like the concept of getting from a point to another now. I really like that adventure bit. So who knows? Yeah, people were asking me, so what's next? And I said, well, this was to join one hotel to another. So where's the next hotel going to be? We just have to find it. It would be great to do something like that. But the likelihood that we find a place where, we can do a similar thing. The biggest thing was 2 weeks is a long time.
Yes.
2 weeks is a long time. And, work goes on. So I actually, there's a photo of me approving pays on the side of the road mid-run.
I was going to ask you about that. I just had an expectation that you were, taking work calls and having some online meetings.
A couple I did.
While you were.
I have a great team behind the scenes that was sort of running the show, but number 1 and number 2 were on the run effectively, and so while Soraya, the number 2, was on the phone while in the car and things like that, but everyone knew that this was an important time and some things had to be put on hold, and the rest of the operations were running quite smoothly with the rest of the team. But then the rest of the team came to Canberra, so it was a big commitment by the company for sure. But I even gave a radio interview while running for SBS. I was literally running with my headphones on, and I did in Italian. It was SBS Italian radio, and I think I was between Goulburn and Marulan, and I was there running. And they said, we'd never interview someone running, but it was actually good fun doing that. And so yes, I had to keep being switched on, and I was quite surprised actually. The interview went pretty well. Again, it wasn't like 100 kilometers at a time, so your brain is still functioning. When you do those big runs, like your brain just goes into a bit of a mush. It worked. But doing something again like this for such a long amount of time probably won't be possible. And also, you probably don't want to repeat. It's you can't copy something that you've already done and you've had such a great success and it worked out. So you just have to come up with something else. Well, we'll see.
Yeah, well, if you open a Hotel Etico in Adelaide, then maybe it's a bike ride.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And then the other thing that was really successful was that we had a lot of people joining the virtual run and running to Canberra virtually. So we had like about 150 people that in a way or another were running or walking or, and they were sort of challenged to do the distance. And it was great because it was a little bit of not competition, but, like friendly competition. And I was checking every night how much I was catching them up. And, I haven't been able to catch up all of them. There were some very good runners on the virtual run, but that was good. That was a good way of sort of keeping the conversation. And then they do social media and they do lots of engagement, which was, made the event very successful.
Yeah, and on that point, we probably should give a shout out to Enrique.
Yeah, Enrique did a very good job. Yes, so Enrique did a very good job. He engaged a lot of running clubs and did a lot of social media. He came and ran with me a couple of times, and definitely was there at Parliament House at the end. He's a good guy that is, has got loads of enthusiasm, and he did lots of promotion, and he worked out really well.
So tell us about that last day. So the last day was a short day distance-wise.
Yeah,
but needed to be because you were going from Parliament House to Mercure.
Yeah, so we finished the day before in Queanbeyan, and then we were staying in Mercure. So we drove back to Queanbeyan at 7:30 in the morning, and I had about 15, 20 runners running with me that day, which was good. And I have a group of friends in Canberra that are part of the running community, and so they all joined, and some joined along the way. And it was only 15 kilometers, and then to Parliament House. And we had to get to Parliament House at a pretty good time. And then when we got to Parliament House, as we were running up in between the flags, and like we had this big wall of people on the lawns of Parliament House, which required, Australian Federal Police, and, that there was a lot of security involved. But it was great. I mean, it was a Saturday. The Parliament House was closed to business, but it was really great to see those many people. And then when we got there was a dance group of people with Down syndrome that sort of put on a show, and we started dancing together. And so it was a very happy moment. It was a really, really celebration. So the Australian Federal Police was asking, is there going to be any splinter group, or is there going to be any protest? No, this is it's a happy event. Maybe sprinter groups, but not splinter groups. And then after that, we had a bus that was taking some people back to Mercure, those that couldn't walk. But otherwise, we had an even bigger group that sort of basically marched together to Mercure. And it was interesting because 80% of the walk was sweltering hot, it was boiling. We were trying to look for shade. And then by the time we got to the War Memorial, which is like literally 10 minutes away, it started storming. And so we finished in pelting down rain.
Oh, no.
Across the finish line. We had a big finish arch in front of Mercure, Canberra. Finished there, crossed the finish line with a ribbon, and then celebrated, sprayed champagne on top of everyone.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, which was good fun. And I had the owner of Mercure, Canberra, as well as Lura Gardens and Fairmont Resorts, Jerry Schwartz, that actually ran walk with me for the last 2 days. So it was really good to run with him, to go with him. There was a big commitment. And then when we got there, it was the beer festival that Mercure put on. So it was great, he couldn't finish any better. So then they got me to go on the stage and collect other donations and speak, and we had the trainees and the graduates there. So it was a very, very good celebration. And a lot of people that decided to take on the challenge themselves that had never run before, and they ran 25 kilometers or 30 kilometers. So it was a good sort of initiative for people to sort of, say, well, I'm committing, I'm doing something for a good cause. And it was a very, very happy 2 weeks. Very, very happy 2 weeks.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well done. So let's just, circle back to the reason that you were doing it and the goal. So $10,000 employs someone to be trained for a year?
Yeah. So the program is quite complex, but basically, in simple terms, young people with disability, 18 to 35 years of age, they stay with us for a year. They're employed for 8 hours a week. but they stay on site for longer than that because they also train. They live on site in the Academy of Independence, which is an apartment that is supported, and they learn how to iron, how to cook, how to clean, how to live together, how to travel to and from work. So they develop skills that are fundamental as the basis to then build a career on top of it.
And independent living.
And independent living, that's right. Because, we're talking about young people, with disability, and so they need to learn a lot of skills, and often they don't get stimulated to do that. They're protected by their family, they live at home, mum does this, dad does this, and so we push them quite a lot. And so approximately the cost of employing them or paying them, because we pay them full award wages from day one, is about $10,000 to do the shifts that they do while they're trained. And so each $10,000 allows us to employ a person. And so we raised about 130, which is a good number, and that will allow us to support what we do for a good time. And then and then at the end of the 12 months, we then help them find employment in hotels. So we have very good track record of success. About 82% of our graduates have secured employment in the industry. The industry has been very receptive to our work with them. And so we have hotels in the mountains like the Fairmont or even Scenic World, for example, other businesses, but a lot of hotels in the city, a lot of hotels in Canberra that employ our graduates, and they keep employing them. And so that's why then, the hotel industry, Destination New South Wales, Blue Mountains Tourism, Scenic World, they all got behind it, and they provide a lot of support. In Canberra, for example, we were very lucky that Jason from Fantastic Aussie Tours and Scenic World facilitated contact with Murray's buses in Canberra, and we got free transport for the crowd to go from one spot to the other. So there was a great sense of community and contribution by a lot of different people, and that's what it's all about, because you can't do these things on your own.
No.
I think I actually had the easy job. I just had to keep moving. If I think of my support crew and everybody else keeping the show alive, it's easier to put one foot in front of the other than to prepare everything else and make everything else run.
Yeah, we often say that about running ultras. Crewing is much harder than actually running.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. And I think, but in the end, the crew ends up having a good experience as well. Whether they do it again or not, I don't know. But I think my colleague Soraya definitely had a good time. It looks like had a good time, and then you got these little anecdotes along the way. The stories, the common stories. Every time I could see the car in the distance, I started dancing, we had this sort of music theme along the way. And so, it was good fun. It was good fun, good memories.
Yeah, excellent. So, if you haven't put in some dollars and provided some support to this long run to inclusion, please get behind it. We want to try and get a few more young people employed and get them the training that they need, not only for employment, but also for life. So.
Yes, and you can find us on our website. There's information there, hoteletico.com.au. You can find us on social media, whether it's Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn.
Both Hotel Etico and Long Run to Inclusion.
Yeah, you can Google Hotel Etico Australia or Long Run to Inclusion. Long Run to Inclusion doesn't have its own website, but there's information on the website itself. Yep. And then you'll easily find the link. So follow me, Andrea _Etico, or the Very Happy Runner, and that's all sorts of ways of getting in touch. Come and visit us as well, whether it's in Mount Victoria or Lura Gardens Resort. We've just now moved the academy inside the old site of the Hotel Management School. So we've got a spanking new sort of facility there, which is great. Lots of meeting rooms, lots of training facilities. And so we love to see people come around and have a look. And it was actually really rewarding to hear along the way that a lot of people know about us. So, I've heard of it. I know. So it was great. It was great to hear that. But there's always someone that doesn't. So if someone that listens to this for the first time and finds out about it, just Google us, Hotel Etico, which is ETICO, which stands for ethical in Italian. And then if you can put $5, $10, $20, $100, whatever you want towards it, it will be matched by these other donors, and it will help us. Yeah.
All right. So get behind it.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you very much, Rob. I appreciate it.
Congratulations on such a big achievement. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm so glad that it all went well.
Yes.
Barring the injuries, it
Yeah,
all
no. It
went really well in the end, and you managed to raise a hell of a lot of funds.
Yes, but injuries are part of the journey, right? It gives you the story, the narrative. So
Absolutely.
it's good. Yeah, it was great. Thank you for your support. It's been really, really valuable. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
No worries.
And
Cheers.
keep on running.